sadly, guys, unfortunately, that there was kind of how I felt about It Chapter 2. I'm just going to be straight away with you, just straightforward. I did not like this movie. I did not enjoy this movie, which was very sad for me. I am still really annoyed about it because I went and seen it yesterday and I've been really anticipating this movie. I actually did a video a couple of weeks ago and it wasn't the first time I've spoke about this. I have watched the trailers of this. Trailers looked fantastic and I thought it was going to be really good. I really did think it was going to be fantastic. And I love Halloween and, you know, I was really going and thinking, oh, this is a great vibe for Halloween and everything. And I actually did a video 2 weeks ago saying, you know, all the movies that I'm looking forward to between now and Christmas, the end of the year. And this was one of them. And this one and Joker with Joaquin Phoenix is the two that I have been really massively anticipating. So I really wasn't expecting to hate this movie, and I'm going to be going over, you know, my review and explaining why, and this is a non-spoiler review, not going to ruin anything for anybody, but if you haven't seen the first one, then what are you doing here? You might not understand what's going on, but we had the same director return for this movie, Andres Muschietti. Hope I've pronounced that right, and I do have my notes with me, guys, because I don't want to be forgetting anything that I want to say for this review. So, it opened up with, you know, the young kids, you know, pretty much with the pact that they had made at the end of the first movie. And, you know, that was fine, you know, it was like, okay, great start and everything. But then we straight away, you know, woke alert, guys, went to Wokeville. So they did go woke, you know, and at the very beginning of the movie when it started. We had, at a carnival, bear in mind, where kids go to, it's a carnival. We had two guys kissing each other. And then we had, you know, maybe about a 4-minute scene about these two, you know, two fellas, right? Two guys. But I'll be honest, I wouldn't have minded whatsoever if it had something to do with the story or any relevance to this movie. But it had literally no relevance to the movie, guys. So heck to the freaking well no, Warner Brothers. And no. If you had have put anything else woke in there, I was for getting up and walking out. You should have seen the look on my boyfriend's face. It's like, oh, again, really? Because it didn't work into the story and it didn't fit. So what did it feel? It felt the usual. It seemed forced. Wasn't needed, sorry. Then we also had at the beginning of the movie, maybe I'm just whining a wee bit about this one, guys, but I don't want to go into the movies at the very start of a film and see some dude throwing up and being sick. What do you do when you first go into a cinema? You have your popcorn sitting there and you maybe want to save it for halfway through the movie, but you can't help yourself and you're eating your popcorn. I don't want to see somebody throwing up. So that's just a wee small thing that I just wanted to say. Maybe hold off on eating your food to about 20 minutes into the movies. Thank you, you're welcome. So then we have Mark Hamill, the character Mike, who basically gets in contact, you know, with everyone else, right? And tells them, you know, look, what we did the first time obviously didn't work. It's 27 years on and, you know, Pennywise is still in Derry, you know, so let's all come together in Derry and let's sort this situation out. And he pretty much explains to him, look, I've been, you know, trying to do research on this, and, you know, if we all revisit our past, and as long as we all do this together, you know, if we can all agree to do this together and to help each other out, you know, we'll be able to finally, once and for all, defeat it. But here's my issue. My massive issue was the pacing. They wasted way too much pussyfooting about, way too much time wasting went on in this movie in the beginning, because the first 30 minutes could have been drawn down to 5 to 6 minutes. That woke part at the beginning with the two gay boys kissing, scrap that, delete, right? Delete button. They were going over, you know, and not just one character, they were going over each character and explaining where they all are now in their lives since they were kids living in Derry to, you know, now. Where they were working, what they were doing in their lives, you know, but it was unnecessary because I was already very well much so invested in these characters in the first one and I was ready for this one. I don't need anything else, right? So showing me, you know, a 3-4 minute scene of each of them and what they're doing now, I don't need to see it. You could have done it much quicker. You know, you could have just, they all had different jobs, obviously, right? They could have just had one of them worked in Warner Brothers. I'm not going to ruin each one for you, but anyway, one of them worked in Warner Brothers and he walked out of Warner Brothers Studios, right? That's all they needed to show. They didn't need to show me longer than that. So I'm going to move on. I want to talk about Pennywise, right? Of course, I love Pennywise. Looks amazing. Amazing actor. So talented. So talented. Hats off. But what I will say is, where was my Pennywise in this movie? I did not see enough of Pennywise in this movie, which to me was a massive downfall and a massive disappointment. I went to the movie to see what? I went to the movie to see pretty much Pennywise. One of the main reasons I went to see the freaking well movie. And I went to get my Halloween vibes flowing as well. But he wasn't in it anywhere near enough, guys. And I am not just saying that. But any bits we did sort of see of him, apart from a couple of bits which I will get to pretty soon, it wasn't scary. I wasn't at all once. Did I get a shock factor? Did I get a scare? Was I creeped out? There was nothing creepy about this movie. It was literally like just walking in and watching a normal movie and coming out and someone going, did that scare you? Did that cartoon Disney movie scare you? No, it didn't. Nah. Why would it? Do you know what I mean? But this movie did not scare me at all. And I think it's mainly down to the visuals and the CGI, which I will be covering in this non-spoiler review. So pretty much what I was expecting as a viewer, and I don't see anything wrong with this considering what I went to go and see, I wanted to see more It. Nothing wrong with that. I wanted to be more disturbed. I wanted to see much more disturbance than what I seen. I mean, let's look at the first It movie, okay? The movie quite literally starts off with a young kid, his arm gets completely ripped off, right? Chopped off, right? And then the kid's, crawling himself along the ground outside. That is disturbing for anybody, adult, whatever, right? Okay? Anybody viewing that basically. As a viewer, you're going, well, freak. And this is only the start of the movie. This is going to be good. This is starting off well. And the first movie did it right. You know, there was gore in it, there was shock factor, there was scares in it, there was jumps, and you're even though I've seen it so many times, you're literally going like, oh, do you know what I mean? And I absolutely love the first one. I have the first one on Blu-ray DVD, which I actually wanted to show you because I love my Blu-ray DVD cover. So I will actually record that separately and then I will bring it up here and you will be able to see it. It's a really cool cover just in case anybody, doesn't have it on Blu-ray anyways, I'm going to move on. So this movie, right, I think they were kind of trying to take it more of like in a comedic direction in some parts. They even had one of the characters, coming off with like a Bruce Willis line, but he had then went and what his job was, when he grew up was basically a comedian, a stand-up comedian. But at the same time, and I know they used to joke about when they were younger and everything, the characters, but at the same time, I'm kind of going, it just isn't fitting and it's falling flat. It's not working with the tone of the movie that you are creating here. I'm sorry. The movie, pace-wise, was very prolonged. I was getting bored. Toward 40 minutes towards the end, that's when my boredom really was just beyond its tether. It was a 2 hour and 49 minute movie that should have only been a way less than 2 hour movie. If I have to be bluntly honest, an hour and 40 minutes and I could have been out of there and on a train home. The fact that they were wasting time showing flashbacks, as I was saying, they were showing, maybe I didn't mention it guys, but anyways, they were showing flashbacks, right? Sorry, of when they were kids, right? Stuff that I had already seen, right? To try and explain them now as adults. But that's okay for someone who's took their girlfriend on a date and has never seen it. But it's boring for me, sadly, because as a viewer, I'm saying, but I'm already invested in these characters. I've seen these why show me these flashbacks? Why are you wasting so much time? Just get on with it. We know who they are. Move on. So that for me was a big issue. Now, I want to talk about bits that I liked, but for me the best parts were literally the young kids, because those young kids are such fantastic actors. Like wee little Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, they're all so talented. See the whole kids cast, right? From It. phenomenal, honestly. And I absolutely love that movie so much, which was why I was so saddened that this movie just did not do it for me. I'll go back on to Pennywise. There was a scene of him close up of his face, and how it was done was so cool and so fantastically shot. However, did it scare me? Did it creep me out? No. Did it wow me in the sense that it was cool and give them credit? It looked amazing. Yes. I literally looked over at my boyfriend. I was kind of like, this is cool. This is really cool. I like that. But I think they could have done more with it, if that makes sense to you. Visually, there's so much more they could have done, and there was just so many things that there was, potential for. Like the carnival, for example. You don't really see the carnival in this movie. You don't even really get to see much of the town of Derry. So it's just weird things there that just didn't add up to me. Now, another thing is, acting-wise, look, listen, James McAvoy is a brilliant actor and everything. He's great in X-Men. But I want to talk about him in the scale of the movie that I'm watching him in, right? I'm not going to go, oh, he's an amazing actor, so he was amazing in this. He's an amazing actor, but was he good in this? No. There was actually a part that was just so cringeworthy to me, and my boyfriend actually said the exact same to me when we were on the train. There was a part where he was standing talking to a kid at a drain, and he started shaking him like crazy and started screaming at him, but the acting was just so bad that the kid's acting then ended up being bad because it was just the two of them, it just didn't work. But the kid there that they had picked that you seen in the trailer, with the mirror scene, the reflection, with Pennywise, with it, that young kid, whoever casted them look-wise, congratulations, the kid actually looked very much like his younger brother, very much looked like Georgie, very much so like Georgie. So that was great, because it was sort of almost like, reminding him of his little brother Georgie and things like that. So I kind of like how they went with that. And also, there is some sort of things that I was kind of going, yes, I'm getting something here, but then I kind of lost it. Like, for example, there was a couple of moments with Pennywise that was really kind of out there, and of course not, PG at all. And you sort of go, okay, now we're getting somewhere. This is more, out there. It's more like the start of the first It movie with the kid crawling along, and you kind of go to yourself, oh yeah, okay, great. But it didn't go anywhere. It was just a couple of quick scenes, and that was it. That was it. I'll be honest, some of the effects in this movie look kind of not cartoon, but kind of Scooby-Doo-ish. It kind of did. Like, from the trailer, the way you seen like a creepy old lady going by. That part does kind of look like a Scooby-Doo-esque, kind of like, didn't work well for the effects. But yeah, some things that I liked seeing, but wouldn't really be enough for me. I won't watch this movie again, I'll be perfectly honest. I will never watch this movie again. But I have on Blu-ray, as I say, and I probably watched that around the first week of October, because I watched so many things over Halloween. I actually start around the 1st of September, because there's so many series and so many movies I like to get through, and all the Simpsons episodes and everything. But there was like really cool scenes, with the wee sort of like hideout and things like that, and flashbacks, and there was posters of the Lost Boys and everything. Like, that's cool to me because I love stuff like that, and I love that movie. And I'm a big fan of the 80s. I was born in the 80s. I'm an 80s baby. And what I really loved, and I was so proud of myself for noticing it, because I was like saying to my boyfriend about it, and he wouldn't believe me. He thought I was joking. There's a little like Easter egg, if you want to call it, of Tom and Jerry in there. It's like on a TV screen, so look out for a TV screen basically in a room, and you'll see it's an episode of Tom and Jerry, and you see like a pavement on a street, or I don't know what you call it. Do you call it pavement in America? Sidewalk, or whatever you want to call it. I call it pavement anyways, with the curbs, and there was like a drain. Special effects overall weren't great. And if I'm honest, there's nothing wrong with me basing that off the first movie. When I was watching this whole entire movie, I'm thinking to myself, this is nowhere near as good as the first one. In fact, actually, you know what I'm actually going to say to you is, there was a movie that was out that I seen this year by James Wan, he did Aquaman, and he did a movie called The Curse of La Llorona, and do you want to know what? That movie was way better than this one. Way better by miles. I preferred it way better. And I did a review of that movie, and that movie wasn't really, I didn't see it advertised once where I live. It was never on the TV to be advertised. yet freaking Avengers Endgame was constantly advertised. Anyways, guys, but, you know, that was a brilliant movie, and that had more scare and shock factor in it, and it was just way better. Way better. But that's just my opinion. You can disagree all you like. It's my channel. I'm just wanting to be honest with you guys. There's no point in me coming on here and being fake. And if it sounds like I'm ranting, it sounds like I'm ranting. When you're complaining about something that you didn't like, it's probably always going to sound like a rant. You know, that's just the way it is. But anyhow, moving on. One thing I really wanted to point out, which stood out as really odd to me, was, you know how in the first movie, right, when, you know, the way Pennywise, of course, feeds off kids, and he comes back every 27 years. And you know how when you see the kids, like, you know, with their eyes, you know, floating up, right, and they're floating up into the air, and they're looking at the, you know, the three flashing lights. And what was odd was when we got to a specific moment in the movie, where was the kids? He had literally returned after 27 freaking years, right? But what was he feeding off then? Do you mean? They didn't have the kids, any kids actually up in the air, floating. So where was all these kids that he'd been feeding off? I kind of thought the ending was pretty dopey too. I won't sort of say anything. There was just parts as well throughout the movie where you're going, sorry mate, if that was in real life, like, that wouldn't work out. I'm not going to like say anything, but like, it wasn't the worst, but the movie also wasn't the best. I think they could have showed more. Here's how to improve it, how they could have improved it. Showed more of Derry. Improved the visuals massively. Another thing is they were recording what should have looked like a shock factor scene in broad daylight, but using a CGI, and having a big statue running about the town of Derry for about, I don't know, 30 seconds or whatever like the time it was, maybe more than that. But the problem that I have is it didn't look good, and the reason why it didn't look good was because unless you have an extortionate amount of money to where it's going to look good, you know, then either don't do it, simple as that, or make it when it's darker. Do it at night, or do it when it's less daylight, because it looked kind of cheaply, and it was Scooby-Doo-esque, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, I mean, I think as well, more of Pennywise. Trying to think of anything else. I think it could have been casted better. Some of them were casted okay and did look like them from they were younger, but you'll get to make that decision for yourselves when you see it. I don't really want to sort of like say, but you know, I think just overall the visuals, more of Pennywise, because at the end of the day it's called It Chapter 2. Maybe better casting. I mean, is it Jessie Chastain or whatever you call the girl in it? I'd never heard of her or seen of her or known of her from Adam, yet everybody's banging on about her. Who is she? What has she been in? She wasn't the best actress. I'm sorry. None of them, you would give them an award for this movie. I am really sorry to tell you. And you can throw in there as many big actors as you want, but you're only as good as your last performance. And no one in that movie wowed me with their acting chops. So that is my opinion, guys. And you're always going to get a 100% blunt. Might sound rude, but so it's my channel. I'm coming on here to give you the most honest, bluntest review for anything that I review. And you know what? This was a sad one because, I mean, I haven't just mentioned this once. I've mentioned this quite a few times. That I am so excited. Was so excited to go and see this movie. And when I went in and watched it, it did annoy me, because when you're really looking forward to going and seeing something and then you go and see it and you don't just you're not just fussed on it, you absolutely did not like it or enjoy it and hated it. It's not nice, it's not. So yeah, it wasn't a good experience for me, unfortunately, guys. I won't be buying it again. And you know what, I feel really bad for the actor, if anything, of Pennywise, because that dude is so talented. And I think it was a bit condescending, to be honest, because I think he deserved to be in the movie more, because how he plays him is fantastic, but it fell flat through no fault of his own, through the fault of the effects, through the fault of how they took this movie. And how dare Warner Brothers think that they can charge me a freaking well ticket, right? And have wokeness at the beginning of the movie that had darn well nothing to do with the movie. Warner Brothers, wise up. Seriously, wise up. You know, if you want to try and compete with Marvel, right, the best idea for you is to keep your wokeness nonsense absolutely out of it. Because there was no relevance to the story whatsoever. It was just poo. It was just two gay boys kissing. I don't know. Anyways, guys, I hope that you did enjoy this review. If you have seen the movie, please be wise because I will delete your comments. This is a clearly titled a non-spoiler review. So if you're going to be that kind of person and ruin it for other people, then you're just going to get your comment deleted at the end of the day. So just to let viewers know that haven't seen this movie, just be, you know, cautious, you know, in the comments because people will still try and be, you know, funny trolls regardless. But thanks very much for everybody for watching, and I really do appreciate the support from the bottom of my heart. And until my next video, don't forget that the Force will be with you always. Bye guys.